How we doing, guys? It is Lollybag Mike here, and yeah, this is day 30 of the 30-day check-in. Technically, it's day 31. Day 30 was yesterday, but just completely pretty much forgot to post yesterday, so here we are, day 30. So I'm going to start with the weigh-in from yesterday. 3, 2, 1. And the steps. 3, 2, 1. Cool. Yep, weight was about 99 point something, or maybe it was 100. I can't really remember. And I can't remember the steps either. But who gives a shit? Honestly, let me just start this video off by saying what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I have a really supportive and awesome family. I'm grateful for my beautiful girlfriend and just the joy that she does bring into my life. I'm grateful for my brothers, even the one that's in heaven now. I still think of him every day. I honestly don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think of my brother. Not to be too sappy, but it's just the truth. I'm grateful for the country that I live in. I'm grateful whenever the sun comes out in the sky. And I'm grateful for whenever I do face adversity, because eventually I do come back stronger and having learnt something. Now, the reason I start off the video by kind of saying what I'm grateful for is because currently in my life I don't feel like I have a lot to be happy about. Well, I should phrase that differently. I'm not happy, and I'm probably in like one of the darkest moments in at least the last year or two. And it's pretty much all self-imposed, to be completely honest with you. Now, there's definitely people out there that have it worse, for sure, and I do try to remind myself of that when I'm in these moments. But, currently where my head's at, it is hard to not focus on my shortcomings and the mistakes I've made. A lot of the mistakes I've made in the past few months just out of cowardice and fear. I haven't physically hurt anyone, but I've mentally hurt myself, and I've mentally put myself through an absolute ringer. A big thing with me has always been porn and campsites and the allure of women and lust. Lust is a really big thing that I struggle with. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think lust is necessarily a bad thing in a totality. I think everybody has it. I think everybody has a propensity to be allured by the opposite sex, more so speaking men than women. I definitely know there are women out there who are, sex addicts or porn addicts and all this, but when you compare it generally to men, I'm sure men have much larger numbers. And I suppose this is the nature of the beast, it's just one of those things where as men we just love the shape of women. We love the tits, the ass, the feminine laugh, like everything. Like I do love women, but I also have something in my head where I do look at women in a certain way as objects. More so when I am consuming a huge amount of porn, as it has been lately. Now, look, I still think that nofap in general is bullshit. I don't think there's anything wrong with dudes wanting to change their habits when it comes to porn use, consumption, and masturbation. I don't think there's an issue with that. I think the issue is, like, when you lose your streak, or when, you know, you have someone who's a casual watcher of porn, then all of a sudden you'll get a bunch of these nofap dudes jump on them like, oh, you're less than us kind of attitude, you know. There's a lot of that kind of grandstanding, moral grandstanding in that community, and I'm not really a fan of that. And I used to be that way, you know, not too recently, you know, when I was on my whole year and a half long stint of like no self-masturbation. It was only really sex with the missus, and no porn watching. I was on a huge moral grandstand. Because to be fair, it's not an easy thing to do that for a year and a half. So I was proud of myself. But, you know, I understand why in the Bible and these kind of religious scriptures, they look at pride as a sin. Because it can quickly turn into that when you let your pride become more than pride, and you let it become almost like a boastful arrogance. I think that's when it can really turn haywire. And eventually you end up sabotaging, because it was almost like that boastful arrogance was the only thing keeping me on the straight and narrow, so to speak, when it came to the porn consumption and use. And then I fell into a hole, you know, really not too long after I kind of moved into this new place, which is about a year ago now. And they kind of started slowly, and then it's just kind of crept to almost everyday use. And I'm talking about this like it's a drug, like it's not that deep. I know that. I know a lot of people are probably going to listen to this and go, dude, it's a porn addiction. Like, you just like going on the sites and going on the campsites and like camming with women and showing yourself. Like, it's not great, but it's not like you're out here shooting heroin into your veins or anything like that. And I get that. But similarly, it is something that doesn't serve me in my life. And, you know, part of this, you know, this Thumos kind of Discord that I've joined with the fellas there, I think a big core kind of tenet, like thing that people focus on there, or they try to focus on, is that if something doesn't serve you, just discard it. And I suppose all I'm really saying now is that I'm having a lot of trouble discarding that part of me that isn't serving me, because it is a comfort. It is something I use to not feel the feelings that I don't want to feel, you know. When I'm unhappy with my job or the money I'm making, it's very easy to disconnect and get validation from some random woman online that you're paying, or from porn. And the thing is, I have validation from people in my life, but it's almost like it's not enough for me. And every time I do this action, I kind of have to disconnect from my body to get through it in a way. Like, if I'm not, this might be a bit too much information, but fuck it. If I'm not pre-jerking myself while I'm doing this stuff and getting my body in that state of sexual readiness, I look at what I'm doing and I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing? This is disgusting. But when I'm erect, when the blood's flowing to the other brain, I'm not really using this one. I'm not really thinking. I'm in a state of just, well, gooning, I guess is what they call it, right? But yeah, I've you know, like I said in previous videos, when I've done this 30-day check-in at the start, I was pretty optimistic. But now I've seen that doesn't always matter. There's certain ways of dealing with things in life, and I feel like if you're constantly kind of looking for a way out, if you're constantly searching for something other than yourself to give you validation, something outside of yourself, you're never going to be fulfilled. And I mean, that's obviously, maybe that's common knowledge for a lot of people, but until you actually see it for yourself, you know, you don't realize like just how much time you're wasting. And I think that's where I'm at the moment. I've been wasting a lot of time. I've been doing the porn, and then now it's gone into the cigarettes, which is just another form of distraction, because I'm really not happy with my life. You know, and when I started this video by saying what I'm grateful for, those things are still present in my life. And those are things I should be happy about and should be putting more of my energy towards. But instead I get caught up in this world of porn and cigarette and all these things that are outside of myself that aren't feeding myself or helping me grow, right? And I think as I get more into those bad habits, I get more into a state of thinking. And this is one thing I definitely agree with Eli in his videos, Elisha Long on YouTube. Definitely check him out. Dude's got some really just different, unique videos. He's got an awesome perspective, and you can tell that he's just an everyday dude. He's not one of these self-help gurus that are online trying to sell you a course or anything like that. Like, I think the dude genuinely cares. And I think that's a big part of the reason why I wanted to join the community. Because I genuinely care about helping other people too, at least in my day-to-day life. You know, whenever my girlfriend has problems or anything like that, I always just want to help, because I genuinely don't like seeing other people upset or struggling with something. I just want to help them. I just want them to be okay. But a lot of the advice I give to help people, or even if it's not advice, you know, a lot of the things with women, and you guys will know this when you've been in long-term relationships and you fucked up enough to figure out what works and what doesn't, is a lot of the time when women come to you with problems, they don't want you to solve them. Most of the time they just want you to listen. Very rarely will they ask for advice. Well, a lot of the times us dudes just want to give advice, because, you know, we're problem solvers. We like to solve problems. But women don't operate that way. They solve their problems by talking about them. Whereas dudes, we have to kind of be by ourselves and figure out tangible actions and steps we can take that will help figure our problems out. Women, on the other hand, if you just give them the space to talk and let their emotions out, it'll actually help them a lot more than giving just some advice will. Now, if you guys are ever in issues with your relationship where you're not sure if your girl wants advice or whether she's just kind of wants someone to listen, it's very simple. And I've done this many times and it works a charm. You simply say to her, do you want my advice or do you just want me to listen? Now, I won't take credit for that. Shout out to Corey Wayne on YouTube. You know, back when I broke up with my ex, I digested just a lot of content on relationships and proper ways of communication and all these types of things, because I was sick of having the issues I had in my previous relationship, and why I did certain things I did. And I'm not perfect and I haven't learnt every lesson, but that was one thing I learnt and I've done well, is my communication when it comes to those kind of things. Whenever there's an issue, like, I don't argue with my girlfriend. We don't really argue, because that's stupid. If you're constantly arguing with your girlfriend, you got to take a long, hard look at yourself and realize that you don't need to. A lot of the times women get emotional, and the best way to deal with that is to either just listen or to have a kind of blasé attitude where you're not focused on trying to fix the problem. You're simply lending an ear, right? So I think a lot of the time, you know, like I was saying, I try to help people out, give them advice, but not always with my girlfriend. Sometimes I do. But more so, you know, with, like, sometimes my mom, just people in my life where I'll give good advice that I think will genuinely help, and sometimes it does genuinely help, or it at least helps them feel easier about what they've got going on. But I don't take that advice really myself. You know, I'm probably not the only one who's like that, where, you know, the classic thing of you're better at giving the advice than you are at taking it. And I guess I've always kind of been that way. But, you know, this all goes to say pretty much that this is the last day. This is the 30th day of the 30-day check-in. And I guess it's an analogy for life in a way of that you think things are going to turn out a certain way, but they don't. And realistically, most of the time they don't turn out a certain way. It's usually due to the outlook you have or the actions that you take. Obviously, you can't make perfect actions in this world to the point where everything you do results in a favorable outcome. Sometimes you're going to do shit that's good and you think is going to serve you, and it does serve you, but you still have negative outcomes in other aspects of your life. You know, like you might be doing great at fitness, making sure you're tracking your calories, going to the gym, working out healthily, doing all this shit, and then maybe you're walking one day and you step wrong onto a gutter, or you step the wrong way onto a sidewalk or something. You step off a set of stairs and you twist your ankle, and then you're unable to move the same way you were, even though you were putting an emphasis on your health and your movement. I guess that's just one kind of example, but there's plenty. So, you know, when I started this 30-day check-in, it was kind of a thing where I had an idea in terms of what I was going to set out to accomplish, or what I wanted to accomplish with the 30-day check-in. And obviously that didn't come to light. But at the end of the day, these things aren't always going to work out the way you want them to. I truly do think, though, that you can never give up. You can never give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Even if you're in a position where all the cards are stacked against you, where you feel like, you know, you're not in a state of mind, or you're not in a area in your life where you feel confident or comfortable, where everything seems to be crashing down around you, where you've got, maybe it's relationship troubles, maybe you've got issues with your family, maybe it's issues with someone else's family, etc. Whatever it is, you know, maybe you've lost your job, you're having financial hardships. The one thing you shouldn't do, the one thing you can't and you shouldn't do, is completely lay down and give up. Now, look, and this is coming from someone right now who's in a position where all I want to do, to be completely honest with whoever's watching this, is lay down and give up. Because things just feel to that point where they don't feel like shit's just not going well. You know, I'll be completely honest. You know, let's be completely honest and upfront, because maybe a lot of you guys struggle with the similar things. I am in pretty decent shape, but I could be in better shape, and I've wanted for years to have a good strong core and be leaner, and I've had moments in the past couple months where I've been good for that, good with doing that, with tracking my shit, not tracking my shit, but tracking my calories and everything. And I've lost weight, only to then put it back on. And it was a hard slog to kind of get that weight off. And then as soon as it comes back on, it's just like, well, I have no one else to blame but myself, because the food is also a way I use to escape reality. And lately my job hasn't been satisfying. I make barely enough money to cover all my essentials. I make enough to cover my essentials, but the rest of it I just spend on fucking food. I don't save it. And I did save it. I had a very good period last year. About a year and a half ago, where everything was being, not everything, but a good portion of my income was getting saved. I was building up a nice little nest egg, and then, you know, I made the decision to move to this new place. As you know, if you've watched previous videos, I was unemployed for a month, spent some money during that unemployment, and then pretty much took the rest of the money I had saved and decided to pay off a good portion of my debt. Now, that's a smart decision. I'm not saying it's a dumb decision. But I'd be lying if I said now that I feel like I don't have any security when it comes to money. I've always been bad with my financial stuff. And now at 30, I didn't really ever take the time to like completely learn about things. You know, I'm learning things here and there. I'm still learning things as I go on, but it's not enough to the point where I'm comfortable at all. I'm not comfortable. I've got maybe $700 saved up in total now, and I have car payments I need to pay. I have all these things, and the only person that can get me out of this is myself. Like I don't want people watching this video to think that I'm just merely complaining. In a sense, this video is just for me to kind of get my thoughts out. But, you know, right now I'm not in a good space monetarily because I've just been making dumb decisions with my money. And a lot of it is food, to be honest. If I looked at how much money I spend on food, on eating out, and don't get me wrong, I cook at home too, but I eat a lot. And it all feeds into this like negative spiral of action where I'm just making decisions that aren't helping me because I don't want to help myself almost, you know. It's like I just want to self-destruct. And it's really hard for me to even come down and make these videos sometimes, even though I'm not really doing anything. I don't have a script. I'm just going off the top of my head. But it's still hard to get the energy and muster up the motivation to do these. I've somehow made it to day 30, even though I'm like a day late, which I'm happy about, mildly. But, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, it's just one of those things where, not to overthink it too much, I'm just in a shit position and I put myself there. And maybe you guys are in that kind of rut, you know, especially when you get to your 30s or when you start turning 30, you kind of think like, what have I been doing? Like, social media is a killer too, man. I have been, you know, spending too much time on YouTube and watching videos, and it's crazy how much that shit affects your mental state when you like consume videos about, say, like I've been watching all these like pedophile documentaries and murderers and serial, like all these people getting caught and interrogated, and it's interesting, but at the same time I can feel it's just making me look at the world with a darker view. So I really do think I need to just get off almost all social media and news just altogether. But that's hard because then you have to face yourself and the outside world, and that's scary, man. That's fucking, whoo. I don't know what that dude inside is thinking, like truly thinking, and it kind of scares me to know what he's going to be telling me that I have to listen to, talking about myself here. But I think that's something a lot of us struggle with nowadays. It's so easy to distract yourself. It's so easy to get on Instagram and look at all these people with their perfect fucking Christmas sweaters and photos and perfect food spreads, and look at all these parties they go. Look how social, look how happy they are. But I do know one thing, that most of that shit is a fucking lie, man. It is an absolute lie. Social media is the biggest fucking lie. Like apologies if I'm using words here, but like too many strong swear words. But I hate it. I absolutely detest it. But yet I still stay on it for some reason, right? Like I go on social media, I see these people posting all their fucking, well, here's my workout routine. Chicks just literally, the thumbnail will be a picture of their ass in tights, and then the video will be somehow talking about their morning routine and motivation. It's like, seriously, fuck off. Like you know why you're posting that. You know why you're getting the clicks. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if this shit angers me so much, why am I willingly viewing it? If I know that it's going to cause me to just look at people different and look at the world with a certain malicious view, obviously without overthinking it, and I am, like I've said before, I'm a big overthinker, but if I was just to objectively look at, if someone else was doing the same actions I'm doing and I could see they were getting frustrated, and even if I agreed with them, I would still be like, well, the solution is pretty simple. Just get off that shit. Just don't view that shit. Don't let it enter your mind. Don't let it into your temple, into your state of well-being. And this is something I think a lot of us have to do. If any of you guys out there or girls are having issues with your self-image or your image of the world because of what all this shit on social media portrays, all the bomb strikes and wars you see on Facebook, all the beheading videos, the violence, the over gratuitous food spreads, and people enjoying their lives, but at the same time they're enjoying their lives but simultaneously filming everything and putting on like a fake sense of enjoyment. Like, realistically, think about it. If you're out with a bunch of mates, you're having a jolly good time, having some drinks, listening to good music, and you have one of your mates there laughing along with you, but at the same time he's filming every 5 minutes. Or you see someone outside and they're filming and they're all happy and they got a dinner with their boyfriend, and then all of a sudden when the phone goes down, it's like they're not even talking. She's just on the phone, he's on the phone. But yet for that brief moment the phone's up, oh, we're just having this awesome conversation, and like, it's all so fucking rehearsed and fake. A lot of it is. I don't want to say all of it is, but a lot of it is nowadays, because people know this is what gets likes. This is what gets me validation. And I'm no different. I'm no different. I have been down this road. I'm currently going down it. So I don't want people to think I'm taking a holier than thou attitude, because I'm not. I'm simply looking at it objectively, and as someone who's been through that gamut of constantly comparing myself online to people I'll never meet, who I shouldn't even know about. It's not natural and it's not good for you. I just know those two things. It's not good. It cannot be good long term for your mental health, and it's not natural. Most of us shouldn't be on social media. We shouldn't even be bothering with it. I honestly think that. And if you want evidence, just look at all the time before social media existed. We existed as people and we had pretty damn happy lives. Nowadays, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are people that still have happy lives, of course there are. But social media has just made it way easier to depress yourself online and to simultaneously impress other people online with your perfectly curated life, your snapshots. It's not your whole life, it's snapshots you're seeing. And I've noticed that more and more, because like I said, I've been on social media more and more. I know people want to say YouTube isn't as bad. I agree. But at the same time, it can still be just as harmful. Like, just looking at all the videos of shit. You don't need to... I look at dashcam videos and I'll see dickheads doing stupid moves on the road. And I can feel my internal mental state just shifting. I could have been having a perfectly fine day and I see one wanker on a dashcam video cut in front of someone, and instantly I'm angry. And it's like, I didn't need to be angry. Does it serve me to be like this? You know? And people will say, it's not that big a deal, you're just watching an entertaining video. Sure, if I just watched that one video and that was it. But we all know we don't do that. We all know we watch fucking tens of hundreds of those videos every week. It can't be good, man. It can't be good. I know it's not good. At least for me, I know it's not good. The happiest times I've had, the times where I've felt the most free and unencumbered by the world around me and free of my mental chains to this digital age that we live in, is when I've removed myself from it, or when I've made myself very sparse in that region, in that domicile. So I need to do it again, and that's all there is to it, really. There's no need to overthink it. I know what the answer is, but it's a hard fucking thing to do. Anyone who may be watching who's done like no social media or things like this for an extended period of time, you'd know that while it does get easier, definitely those first few weeks to months are like very, very fucking difficult, because it's so in your face now. It's so hard to escape from it. It's not like before, where smartphones were first out, where you could just say, well, I'm just going to stay with my flip phone. But now, like, you're exposed to everyone else on their smartphones. You're exposed to ads everywhere. You're exposed to there's so much more ease of access to get onto these things. And yeah, so, you know, I really did think at the start of the 30-day check-in that I'd be here 10 kilograms lighter, full of fucking piss and vinegar, big up in myself for the discipline that I had to continue on the journey, but I'm not. I'm probably way more now than I did when I started. I'm smoking cigarettes now. I am not in a good place mentally. I am eating a bunch of shit food I shouldn't be eating. I'm doing a lot of things that are going against what should serve me, you know. And that's just real. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. It's not always a straight path. There are bumps. There are big bumps in the road. Sometimes there are smaller ones. Sometimes you fucking drop down a ditch. And I'm in that ditch, man. I need to dig myself out of it. And I need to end this video soon because it's 30 minutes now I've talked for. Oh, that's the problem with not having a script, I guess. But whatever. Not many people are going to watch this anyway, so it doesn't matter. And yeah. But look, to anyone else out there, any dudes, any women that you're struggling with this and you are just like needing a lifeline or someone to talk to, you can talk to me. You can send me a message, whatever, man. Like I'm very open to meeting new people and making new connections. But I think we can all help each other out with this if we're all like-minded, and that we don't want to have these chains on us anymore with all this social media shit and all this overthinking and all this. I've got to do this perfect morning routine. I've got to brush my face with fucking golden maple syrup, and then I have to get fucking nectar from the asshole of a African queen bee that only has 100 left in the species, and it has to be cured at a temperature of 35 degrees and injected straight into my anal gland. Like, whatever it is, man. Like all this dumb shit. I gotta dunk my face in ice and an ice water. I've got to have an ice water bath every bloody morning. Look, if you want to do that shit, fine, more power to you. But it's not necessary to have a happy life. I think what's necessary is simply cutting out the bullshit. What you know isn't serving you. We all know what isn't serving us. We do. We know it. You don't need to ask some self-help guru on the fucking internet. You know what's not serving you. You know what's making you feel less than. What's making you lose that spirit that you should have inside of you that makes you want to wake up every morning and look forward to the day. And I think for a lot of us in this day and age, social media is one of those things. Honestly, I think it is. I see it. I see so many videos about people just, I went off social media, why social media is bad. Like, everybody knows it, but yet we still participate in it because we're scared of the emptiness of our own thoughts. But we shouldn't be. You know, we should want to master our own thoughts, to become one with them, to understand ourselves better than you don't want to understand someone else on Instagram who you've never met, who lives 8,000 miles away, who has an Instagram page dedicated to them showing off their body, their ass tats, their matcha latte that they got and that they went for a 2-kilometer run today, and hey girlies, this is the best way to do ya. Why? You know, fucking go on Google, you like get a simple workout plan or something very simple and do it yourself, and don't document it. Just listen to the one within, your own thoughts, your own mind, and how it's responding to it, and keep that happy. Keep yourself happy. Listen to your thoughts. Don't know someone else on the internet better than you know yourself. I feel like a lot of us do that now. We obsess over these people we'll never meet. We don't know how their lives are. You don't know what challenges they're facing, what shit they're not showing on their Instagram. And it makes us all kind of, a lot of us feel like everyone's perfect except us, and it's just not the case. But when you're knee deep in that shit, it's hard to see that. And I understand it because I am knee deep in that shit currently. So this video is kind of almost more for myself than it is for anyone else. But that's the way it should be. It's not selfish to put yourself first. Just remember that, guys. It's not selfish to put yourself first. And you know what you need to do to get back on the right track and to feel better. And don't get into the habit or the trap of thinking everything needs to be perfect, that you need to eat perfectly and all these things, but at the same time, do what does feed your body. And look, I have nothing wrong with going out and having a meal outside or whatever. But when it gets to the point like it has for me, where you're getting Maccas every second or third morning, where you're using a buy now pay later thing just to pay for a pack of cigarettes because you haven't got enough money left over after you've paid rent and everything like that. When you're living like that, you know shit's got to change. And that's where I'm at, and I hope to change it. But look, I'll just end this video by saying that I'm grateful for everyone that has watched these videos. Anyone that's liked, I've gotten like 1 like in the past 20 something videos, but it doesn't matter. So maybe I shouldn't even include that. But anyone that does like or has liked, I appreciate you. Anyone that leaves comments, whatever, like, I appreciate you. And even if you're just watching and you don't leave any comment or you don't like, I appreciate you. And I hope that you're doing all right in this life. And I hope that if you're not and you feel like you just want to reach out and talk, seriously, message me, whatever. I'm happy to listen to any issues you have. Like, I like listening to other people's problems because, one, it helps me feel like, okay, I'm not alone. And two, I have a genuine chance to feel like I'm impacting someone and making some change. And I truly believe that helping people out and helping your fellow man at an individual level, there's nothing more rewarding than that. Helping your fellow man, your fellow woman, and just people in your family, the ones that are close to you, that love you and you love them. So, like, honestly, God bless all of you that do watch this, and I really hope that you have like an awesome day or a night wherever you are. And like I said, if you're having any problems or anything, or you just want to talk, you want a friend, you want someone to add on PSN, I'm Mickle12 on PSN. I'm just looking to connect with some people, man, and just help if I can. And if you don't want to and you just want to watch the videos and stay silent, that's cool too. I appreciate that. Oh, I put my seat back. I appreciate you. We will all get through this. Just don't give up. Don't go flat on your back. And don't give in, you know. It's important that you just remember that you're not alone in this, and you can get through whatever you need to get through. But this is a 37-minute video, so it's long as hell, so I'm going to end it now. But that's a 30-day check-in. I'm not sure when I'm going to post my next video. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, I think, from worrying about any of this posting stuff and just try to get myself back on track. And get myself to a spot where I don't dread waking up every morning. I know it sounds depressive as hell and I sound like a little bitch, but I honestly, like, I have work tomorrow. I don't know want to fucking go. I don't want to show up for the rest of the week. I don't want to do anything. I barely want to get out of bed most mornings. But I'm still showing up regardless, and I'm still doing the basic things I need to. And there might just be seasons where you have that, but you can get through it, and don't let it be your whole life, yeah? Because you got people that love and care about you. I love and care about you. I don't even know you, but yeah, either way, I hope you guys doing well. Have a good night, have a good day, and until the next video that I post, that's it for me. Peace.